good morning, good afternoon or good evening, students. Bienvenidos de nuevo a otra clase de inglés. Ya es la 12ª clase. Espero me disculpen por esta ausencia que hubo, pero fue tanto para darles tiempo con lo de sus exámenes como para que yo subiera las calificaciones. Y bueno, ya ahora sí vamos a seguir adelante. Espero hayan salido bien de promedio, tanto en mi clase como en las clases de sus maestras y maestros. Y pues bueno, hay que seguir avanzando. Yo creo que ahora voy a subir las clases los lunes al grupo de WhatsApp junto con la emisión de Aprende en Casa del viernes o del jueves pasado, para que ya ahora sí estén los dos juntos y no haya ningún problema en encontrar mis clases, ¿de acuerdo? Bueno, sin más, pues ahora vamos al tema. Antes de comenzar, recuerden que deben tener anotado estos 3 datos: name, group y school. En name quiero ver su nombre completo con todo y apellidos. En group, el grado en el que van y su grupo, ya sea A o B. Y en school, anoten por favor 20N si son de la 20 de noviembre o JMMP si son de la José María Morelos y Pavón. Además, claro, de activar los subtítulos, ya sea en los puntitos o donde están esta doble C dentro del video, ya que mis clases están en inglés. Las instrucciones por lo general es anotar todo lo que aparece en el pizarrón y su significado en español. Sin embargo, hay que tener activos los subtítulos para ver si hay otra instrucción, ¿de acuerdo? Bueno, sin más, seguimos. Por cierto, antes de comenzar con la clase, quería comentarles que a partir del trabajo anterior, o sea, el de Jobs, ya estamos en el segundo trimestre, ¿de acuerdo? Así que chequenlo bien a partir de ese tema y ahora en adelante ya vamos por la calificación del segundo trimestre. Bueno, les acuerdo nuevamente que siempre activen los subtítulos para que entiendan bien las clases. Y bueno, nada más quería darles ese aviso. Alright kids, so today is Monday 23rd. The month is November and the year is still 2020. The verb that we are going to see today is to pay, que significa pagar. And today's topic is going to be an easy one, which is money, which means dinero. We're going to see different names that money has, depending on its shape, its value, or the place. Okay? Well, here we go. Alright kids, as I mentioned before, today's topic is money. Alright? So, we are going to start with a round object, which is coin. Coin. In Mexico, there are different kinds of coins. We have 10 and 50 cent coins. We have 1 peso, 2 peso, 5 pesos, 10 pesos coin. And I think those are the most popular. Alright? So, number 1, coin. Remember, you have to draw and you have to write the word in English, or if you want, you please write the word in English as well as the meaning in Spanish. Alright? Okay, let's continue with currency. Currency. Its meaning in Spanish can be the same as the word above, which means moneda. But the second one means like the kind of currency or the kind of money a country uses. Alright, for example, the first sign means dollars, the second one yen, which is used I think in Japan. The third one is the sign for euro, which is used in Europe. And the last one, we are going to see the name in a few minutes, okay? So that's currency, which means you can write down tipo de cambio, o tipo de moneda. Okay, let's continue with bill. Bill. Here in Mexico we have also different bills. I think the one that we use the most might be the 20 pesos bill with Benito Juarez, then the 50 pesos bill, which is kind of pink, and then we have 100, 200, like the one on the board, 500, and there are even a 1,000 pesos bill, which is not very common to see. Alright, bill. Next one is going to be cash. Cash, it doesn't mean like tons of coins or tons of bills. Alright, as you can see, those coins are like 2 pesos coin, and the bills are like 20 pesos bills. They are not, how can I say that? They don't represent something more valuable, alright? Cash means efectivo, which means to have coins or bills with a shorter amount of value, okay? We cannot say cash, well, we can say cash as long as they are bills or coins, but it's more specifically with coins and bills with the less amount of value, okay? So cash means efectivo, and then change. And my drawing is kind of weird, but let's analyze it. This hand represents the seller's hand, and this hand represents the buyer's hand. He is giving him or her some money, which means the seller is giving the buyer his or her change. In fact, the word change means, as a verb, means cambiar, but in this case it means cambio. The money the seller gives you when you pay for something and you still have money. Alright? Change. Alright, number 6 is cent. It is also a coin, but this one represents, I think, the lowest value on money. Alright? Because cent means centavos, and that coin represents 50 cents. Alright? And 2 50-cent coins equals a peso. Alright. Number 7 is going to be the currency from the place English language comes from. Alright? Pound. That is the currency used in United Kingdom. Alright? Pound. I told you before that we are going to write down the name of that currency. Pound, and in fact I think it's one of the most valuable currency. Yeah, you have to pay more for a pound than for a dollar. Alright, let's continue with number 8, which is my favorite, credit card. Credit card. Alright, and there's another one that is not credit but is debit card. Adults use a lot of these things. This way, that's the way we get our money. Alright? Credit card or debit card. Number 9 is going to be a piece of paper that can worth almost nothing, or I don't know, everything. For example, that one, it says 10,000 pesos. It can be even more, alright? This one is check, alright? Check it's also used to different things. In this case, it's cheque. Alright, and the last one is going to be, by the way, last one is going to appear here. Box. Alright, I'm going to explain to you. Box, in this case, if you can see the drawing, there are a lot of $1 bills, okay? That's $1 bill, but there are more. But how then? What does bucks mean? Well, have you heard that here in Mexico, another ways to say peso can be, I don't know, baro? I mean, our currency it's called peso, but the informal way to call it is baro. Well, it happens the same in United States. Their currency in United States is dollar, okay? But the informal way to say dollar is bucks, okay? Bucks. That's why I'm teaching you this word, because you may hear, I don't know, how much for that figure? $20. But some people can say 20 bucks, all right? Which means the same as dollars. So you can write in the meaning dólares, pero de forma informal. All right, let's continue with 5 different names for money. For example, when we need to pay for a school service, it is called fee, which means quota. Number 12. The money the government asks us, it is called tax, alright? Which means impuestos. Please write everything down. Done? Okay, let's continue. Number 13. The money we borrowed from the bank, it is called loan, which means préstamo. Loan. Number 14. What we give after a good service, for example, at a restaurant, it is called tip. Alright? Yeah, like an advice, but in this case it's tip, which means propina. Number 15. If you owe money to someone, it is called debt. Debt, which means deuda. Y bueno, por hoy eso fue todo. Espero les haya gustado la clase. No se les olvide hacer también la tarea de Aprende en Casa. Y ya saben, me pueden encontrar en mi correo, que yo creo que va a estar apareciendo por arriba, y en mi WhatsApp de martes a viernes de 12 a 6 de la tarde. Por mi parte eso es todo. Les deseo un excelente inicio de semana y so long, kids.